Hello and welcome to the video. This is a quick look at a new quad from Ruko. Now this is the R11 Mini. This came out this week. I have been lucky enough to have it for a couple of weeks to put it through its paces. Now this is a very competitive part of the market. Lots of manufacturers are bringing out these kind of sub 250 gram small foldable flying camera drones, and this is the latest one from Ruko, that kind of mini tag. Now there are a number of things that you should look for whenever you're buying a camera where particularly you want to shoot smooth video from it. The first is that it has some kind of 2-axis stabilizing gimbal, or if it doesn't have that, some kind of smoothing electronic image stabilization built in. Sadly, this doesn't have that. It also, ideally, you want 2.7K or better video. Again, sadly, this doesn't have that, although it talks about 4K in the listing. Unfortunately, the 4K is talking about the image resolution for still images, not for 4K video. Ideally, compact design is very good. This is a very small and lightweight model, just like lots of others in the class. Also, having a GPS and an optical flow sensor, which is that little black dot there underneath, is handy. It means it will hold position and it makes it much easier to fly. And then you obviously want some kind of phone app for Android and iOS. So this has most of the stuff that I would look for in a model. And to be honest, I hadn't quite spotted that it didn't have a gimbal, but we'll come back to that in a little bit later. So let's jump onto the bench. Let me show you what comes in the box and the kind of flight modes that it has, and show you some example footage of what you get when it's flying about. So everything comes inside of this cute little bag. It has a pocket at the front, no pockets anywhere else, and a strap for your shoulder. And as you open it up, the first thing you're presented with is the quad itself. Now this again is the F11 Mini from Ruko. You open the front arms first and the back two arms, and there is a little gimbal protector on here as well that you can just remove, and then you have the camera that's mounted on a vibration isolating pad. It looks like a gimbal, but unfortunately it isn't. Weight of this is 245 grams is stated. Let's just check that out. Let's put it on the magic scale, and with the battery I'm actually reading that there. So that's actually well under the 250 gram limit, if that's important to you. In terms of the battery is inserted in the back, just like you would expect. There's a catch here to undo it, push that in, and the battery is ejected. This is a 2100 7.6 volt pack. It'll give you about 26-30 minutes of flight time. It is charged quite nicely from USB. Hopefully you can see that on the video. There it is. The USB charge takes about 3.5 hours though. So this is the thing that you put on like for the afternoon before you go flying the following morning. There's no fast charge unfortunately supported at all. Maximum flight altitude is set to 393 feet and the maximum flight distance is set at 1,640 feet. Video transmission is via Wi-Fi to an app that's on the phone, and there's a specific app that you need to download. Now, this has been designed to be a little bit more robust, as I said in the introduction, and it does seem to be surviving very well. Only other things I'll point out to you, as well as the optical flow sensor underneath, is there's some nice protection for the camera around here. So if you do smash into it with the nose, it isn't going to destroy the gimbal. Again, shame it's not a 2-axis gimbal. SD card fits in here, and you can see right the way through it when the battery is unplugged. So when the battery is installed, it kind of makes it all nice and rigid. 1503 brushless motors on the sides. Now, to actually set this up is pretty straightforward. Let's grab the radio part. So I really like this radio only because it comes like this and then you have to open it like some kind of transformer. So there are pads at the bottom that you open up that allow you for an easier grip. The USB charging port is here as well. It has an inbuilt battery, so you don't need to put anything else out here. It has a little tab here for the antenna. I can't see whether or not there's actually any wire in here, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And the last part is you open the front, and then this is where you would put your phone with running the application to look at the video. The sticks themselves are sprung and they do feel quite nice. They're quite easy to use. And you have 3 little buttons here for automatic takeoff and landing, compass calibration, and the return to home. It's handy to have it on here because if there's a problem with the video and you lose connection, you can kind of hit that button. Does feel a little bit plasticky, the remote, and the power on button is just a single press. I would have liked it if you had to press and hold it to turn it on. It's very easy to catch this accidentally as you're picking it up and putting it down and turn the radio controller off. The only other thing about this is that the buttons on the top, you have 2 here to stop and start recording of both the video and to take a photo, and over here you have the controls to move the camera up and down. It'll go from looking straight out to 90 degrees, so essentially looking straight down. As well, in here we have 2 batteries. I've got one installed and you have a separate one as well, so between them you'll get the best part of an hour's flight time. And then the only other thing in here is we have some more blades, which are great. They're individual blades, so if you only damage one because you happen to clip a tree or something, then you can swap them out. Great to see that in the pack. And then you have a little pack of things like screwdrivers and other pieces as well. So pretty much everything you need comes inside. So let's very quickly connect to it with the app and I'll show you the flight modes. So let's turn on the radio and let's also turn on the quad. You press and then press and hold to power up the quad. And then you move the control throttle up and down and that connects. And then we get the lights at the back to let you know what is going on. It's now generated a little Wi-Fi access point. And if we look at the Wi-Fi access points on the phone, we should find there's an access point called something like Ruko F11 Mini. So what we'll do is we will connect to that, make sure that you're connected. Once we are, then we can start the Ruko Mini app and that will fire up. And then we can go into control. And then what it's going to do is remind us how we do all of that stuff.
GPS mode, GPS mode.
And then it's going to tell us it needs to go through some calibration stuff, and it'll do this every time. So we need to pick up the quad and rotate it horizontally to do the compass calibration. And this is really good because it means that it'll guarantee the GPS and return to home modes will work well. Always do this away from all other magnetic interference. Once it's done that way, we put it so the camera's up and we twist it around again. And once we've done that, we stick it down onto a flat ground and we click on calibrate. So here we are actually looking at the interface. We've gone through all the calibration stuff. Just be aware, I've had issues where if the SD card isn't plugged into the model, I don't get my video. Now, in here, in the top right hand corner, we have the little control which gets you into the parameters. I would turn off beginner mode and set things like your total flight distance and your maximum flight altitude to be what you want it to be. In here is also options for the storage setting and the real-time image transmission, how you want to do that. You can also then track all the different pieces as well as set things like the units. I've obviously set it for inch miles per hour. In here are also the controls for the automatic takeoff. We have the return to home icon here on the left hand side, and then opening the others gives you access to the other modes. On the right hand side, we have the option to take video or to take an image, and when you start the video you can click the recording button, and then underneath we have things like the height and distance. In terms of the modes that's available, there are only a couple here and they're pretty basic. Then you can take off and fly around just as you would expect, and it does a very good job managing its own altitude, and when you let go of the sticks, remaining straight and level and keeping itself in position using both the GPS and that optical flow sensor that's part of it. The other one here, we have a thing called route planning that allows you to set an individual set of points that then the drone can fly autonomously. Then you have something called GPS track. GPS track allows you to move around, and the quad will then follow you. Don't forget, you have to manually adjust the gimbal using the control so that it's actually looking at you, but that seems to do a good job both when you're walking away and walking towards the model. Obviously there's no collision avoidance here, so unfortunately you have to make sure that if you're walking and it's flying backwards that it doesn't fly into a tree. And then you also have something called orbiting mode, and orbiting mode will orbit around a specific location and you can adjust the distance. So that if you're, I don't know, maybe on the top of a mountain and kind of want a view of it circling you, that's an option to do that. The last one here that's not in here is the return to home mode. Return to home mode, once you activate it, will immediately bring it back. And in the testing that I've done here, the return to home mode works incredibly well. It'll fly back at a nice safe altitude, hover over the return to home point for a little while, and then if you don't do anything, it'll gently descend, land and disarm. So the modes with this in the application are pretty basic. There's none of the more advanced stuff that you get on more expensive models. But one of the things that you've probably spotted is that unfortunately the video that you get from the model, because it doesn't have that stabilizing gimbal, is very shaky, even when it's sat in light wind and it's getting bounced around as it tries to maintain its position. Last point I'll talk about on this is the batteries. Now the batteries, it's classed as an intelligent battery, however it doesn't auto discharge, and that means that if you charge this thing up and then you don't use it and you have to discharge it, the only way you can really discharge it is by hovering the quad around to get that battery back down. So I'm not sure intelligent is what I describe it as. This is a pretty bog state basic LiPo battery. So obviously this is running on the very latest and greatest version of the firmware here. Maybe firmware updates will improve things over time. The video performance I don't think is particularly top drawer. Although this is kind of built around being a more robust platform, I think the lack of that gimbal and some of the camera exposure and color grading does make it look a little bit meh, in my humble opinion. Both the controller and the drone, as I've said, do feel a little bit plasticky, but in the flying that I've done here, this does seem to be holding up very well. I'm not particularly tough on my flying camera drones, but this is just not even bothering about the odd little bump that it does get. Wi-Fi connection for the video does mean that there is a little bit of lag, so you couldn't fly this FPV, but it's more than capable of flying around in the local fields and getting a bird's eye view of what the countryside looks like. The availability of spares is also key for things like this, so I am glad to see that Ruko are listing things like props, batteries, arms and stuff on places like Amazon, and having them on Amazon does mean that you can get hold of that stuff quite quickly without having to wait 3 weeks for it to ship from China. In summary, what is here is good, but for me the big disappointment is the fact that they haven't included a gimbal. I think if you're looking to get something like this to shoot smooth video, then that absolutely has to be on your wish list. But if you don't care about that, then this flies quite well, and the flight modes that are here, particularly things like the return to home, seem to work in a really reliable, solid way. My favourite quad in this particular category at the moment, non-DJI style, is the Hubsan Zeno SE. Now I looked at that a while ago. I'll put a link down below if you want to go and check out that particular review. That's kind of the same as this, but it has a 2-axis gimbal for video stabilization, which means the video that comes off it, along with the way it handles exposure and color saturation, is absolutely beautiful. It is a little bit more expensive, and I think that's going to be the challenge for this little R11 Mini, because even though they've discounted it heavily, it does mean that for an extra £100 odd, you can get something that's going to be a lot more useful if you want to use it for video. Thank you for spending your time today watching that video. You can find me in all the usual places on social media, and if you're trying to learn about a subject, then check out the playlist. All of my videos are organised into easy to follow playlists that if you're trying to learn a topic will take you from the basics right the way through to some pretty advanced stuff.